Hello and welcome to Chitchat. I'm First Lady Modesty, your host, and in the studio today is Teddy Blackmon. You heard part one, and today is part two. We had to continue on with this dynamic story, his life story, or a part of his life story, I should say. And so, Teddy, I want to thank you once again for being here on Chit Chat and you're welcome, and for being so transparent. So many young people have a different mindset. You know, it's different being outside of a prison versus in the prison. You know, when you're on the outside of a prison and you're running things and you're handling business to the best of your ability, or you're the top dog or the head honcho, you think that things can't happen to you. You know, you're invincible, untouchable. But when reality sets in and a person is given that sentence, and so this is what your peers, or this is what the judicial system says, that you are going to serve this amount of time, and you were given a life sentence. But by the grace of God and our former president, President Barack Obama, who said, if a person had a drug charge, but it was a non-violent drug charge, he agreed to release, or as you stated, the correct terminology, he agreed to give clemency to 6,000 individuals. Not 600, 6,000 individuals. And Teddy Blackmon, you were one of them.
Yes, ma'am, I was.
And so we need to know the day leading up to the hour of your release. And as you gave us the term earlier, you and your cellie, did y'all have a discussion? What happened?
At the time of my release, I was in lower security, which was a low prison.
Yes.
I had went to that was my fourth prison, actually. But it was at a lower security, at a low. And I was working at a place, it's called R&D, receiving and discharge. And everybody who comes through the prison, inmates, they have to come through there. Leaving or coming in, they have to come through there. Okay. So I was the orderly up there, up front.
Okay.
And God gave me favor to get that job, you know what I'm saying? And I was able to see people leave and come in and talk to all kind of people or whatever. Okay, so, and I know when the release papers come through, they come through there first.
Right.
So, and I always used to talk to the officers there, and like, look, I said, it ain't gonna be long, I'm gonna be up out of here.
I know that's right.
Yeah, through the grace of God, I'm gone.
Yes.
I gotta get out of here.
Yes.
So, I used to talk to them like that all the time. So I used to tell them, they used to ask me, so what's your attorney talking about or whatever. So I said, it's getting near, man, I know it's getting near. I can feel it. So that particular day, I was like, man, I said, now, I might be coming back through here today now. He said, well, we hope so. We hope you get up out of here, man, because it's time for you to get out of here.
Yeah.
So when I went back, and we have a computer system there where we send messages to our loved ones on the outside or whatever, and connect with attorneys and whatever we have. Okay, so when I came back and I seen the message from my attorney on the computer saying, congratulations. So I kind of like, I don't want to show no emotions, because in there, I don't want people to think, if I be like, yes, they be like, what's going on, what?
Right.
And then they gonna be like, hating or whatever. He think he's something because he finna go home. Whatever.
Right.
So I don't try to show no emotion. So when I seen congratulations, whatever, I said, oh, Lord. So I looked around. I looked around and I was like, and I started reading it again, and it says, the judge ruled on your case at 11:01 this morning, and she granted immediate release for you. So I was like, oh wow. So I know once the judge ruled, it might take a day or so for the actual paperwork to get back to the prison. Right. Because they got to go through the chambers, the certain chambers they go through, right? Okay. So I was like, oh wow. So at the time it was like 1 something in the afternoon. So I said, so I went downstairs to my counselor, and I said, listen, I just got a message from my attorney saying that my case, judge ruled my case is immediate release or whatever. She said, oh wow, for real? She said, let me check. So she looked at the computer. She said, well, I don't see nothing on here yet. So like I said, it take like a day. So I said, well, it might take a day or so or whatever for it to go through or whatever. And she said, yeah, I know. But then she said, you know what, it might be later. I don't know.
Right.
So she said, in the meantime, while you standing right here, you know, we're going to get all this paperwork signed out the way so you won't have to do. So I signed a few papers and she said, call someone you ride and just put them on notice, whether it's today, tomorrow, whenever. Just put them on notice, let them know you about to be coming home shortly. Right. So I was like, oh wow, it's just unbelievable. So I said, okay, so I called this guy I knew. He was closer than my sister.
Okay.
Come pick me up. I'm trying to get the closest ride to get about there.
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying? So I called the dude and he was like, okay, wow, okay, I'll be there. I said, no, wait till I call you back. Maybe tomorrow or something, or next day. So okay. So the other lady counselor was in there talking to me. She said, Blackmon, where are you going? Where are you going? I said, I'm going to Charlotte when I get out of here. And she said, okay, that's good. Glad for you. So I was in there talking to her for a minute. And then my counselor called me back and she said, Mr. Blackmon, you need to go ahead and call your ride back and tell them to come on now to pick you up. Because it just popped up on the computer saying, you got to be out of here before 4 o'clock now.
Say what?
You got to be out of here before 4 o'clock. And it's already almost 2 o'clock. So I couldn't even, I said, what? She said, yes, go upstairs and get all your little belongings, whatever you go take on, and it's time to go.
Wait a minute, stop right there. When she told you that,
oh my God,
did you release a sound at that
oh
time,
my God.
or did you still keep it inside?
I said, oh my God, thank you, Lord. I said, Lord, and they was like, yes, thank you, Lord. They were saying it too.
Yes.
Because they knew, you know.
They knew your good behavior.
Yes,
you was a stand-up guy.
And what I had been going through with the sentencing and all that.
Yes.
They knew I had a life sentence and it's crazy.
Yes. And so now you just told him, wait until I call you.
Yes. It wasn't even 20 minutes, 10 minutes or whatever. And she told him to call me right back.
So earlier you mentioned, and I know earlier you mentioned though that you had access to a computer.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know people have access to phones, but how do you obtain the computer time? Is that free? You had to pay for it?
Yes, and the computer actually is just like a messenger thing. It's not like the computers out here like online or whatever.
Okay.
We can't do none of that. It's just a message. It's basically like text messaging.
Okay.
You send emails from me to you.
Right.
Or, you know, to my loved ones or my attorney or whatever.
Yes.
That's all we can do. No pictures, no nothing come through there, you know?
Okay.
So just messages. You know
Got you.
So that's the type of computer we had. And people have phones or whatever,
What kind of phone?
that's illegal.
Okay.
I don't deal
they
with
have the illegal phone.
Yeah, I don't deal
okay,
with
well
that.
let's keep it.
Yeah.
Let's just move away from
I know,
that.
right?
I don't need nobody coming after you or me. Because we done said they had a burner phone.
Nah.
We finna just let that burn.
Yeah, let that burn.
So you go and you make your collect call to your homeboy.
Yes.
Right? And he accepts the charges and you like, dude, I need you to.
Yeah, stay on standby.
And get here quick, fast, and in a hurry.
As fast as you can.
Yes.
Yes.
And so if you could thank somebody, because you mentioned you were in 4 different facilities.
Mm-hmm.
If you could thank anybody at any of those facilities other than the guy who reminded you that God was still walking with you, who would you thank? And why would you thank them?
Well, it was like certain people in each one of those prisons, God put in my path
Right.
that keep me uplifted
Mm-hmm.
and positive
Thinking. Yes.
And it's like I can name in one prison, I can name this guy, next prison, this guy, next prison. And really the last 2 prisons I've been in,
Right.
I'm still keeping in contact with those guys out here, and they are out.
Okay.
And they're older guy. Well, one of them is an older guy, and one of them is a younger guy. And then they like just always just keep me uplifted and
Yes.
Teddy, look, you know, you will be home shortly. Don't worry about it, you know.
Right.
Or don't think about this dude over here that got up under your skin or
Yes.
whatever, you know. Just a lot of stuff, you know. And I always leaving Bible quotes and scriptures on my desk
Right.
and stuff like that. And I just want to thank, you know,
Those 2 men.
yeah, those couple of guys
Mm-hmm.
in the last few prisons that I've been in. And one of the guys, he's still incarcerated as of right now.
Okay.
And I still talk to him.
Okay. To
You know,
keep him uplifted
yes.
and motivated.
And send them pictures and stuff. So, and
That's a beautiful thing, because when I hear what you told so far today, God used another man to get to you,
yes,
and now you're being used by God to help another man,
that's right.
or other men, I should say.
Yes.
And so I know y'all want to know what happened, but I'm going to make y'all wait. So if there was something that you could say to a young person today about, you know, this could be your life, the possibility of never getting out of prison and spending the rest of your life there, what advice would you give them?
I would tell them, listen, brother.
Or sister.
Or sister.
Yeah. Because there's some girls out here.
Yes.
That's, woo.
Ooh, you're right.
Yes.
And I would tell them, listen, for one, you are a young
Right.
adult.
Mm-hmm.
You got your whole life ahead of you.
Yes.
Redirect that energy you have going towards all this negativity, and put it to a positive use, like take up a trade or do something positive.
Right.
Like that. Surround yourself with positive people and speak positive things about yourself.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, God will redirect your mind with your thinking. Keep God in your life
Yes.
always.
Yes.
Just thank Him throughout the day, just for everything, you know, your health, anything. And just think, you know, try to think different outside the box and not think about the area you're in or what you're going through or if your street life. You know, just think about businesses or get you a job or something of that nature, you know, because you don't want to experience what I just went through.
Right. You said it best. If they could wrap their mind around outside of their situation,
Yes.
if they can see themselves beyond what they're experiencing, then the possibilities are limitless.
Yes.
But they have to have a made up mind to do so.
Yes, yes.
And so we're gonna go back. It's getting exciting. So, you know, I can just imagine that energy just building up on the inside of you. So now you've called your homeboy back and said, "Get here."
Yes.
And you went back to your cell to collect your belongings.
Yes.
Now your cellie had to be, I would have been like, "Dude, what you doing?"
See, and at the time,
Or he wasn't in there.
no, yeah, at the time, you know, the different prisons I was at, the living changes.
Right.
To lower your security, you come from behind the door and you be in an open pod.
Okay.
So you have cellies, but you don't be behind the door.
Okay.
And at that time, I didn't have a cellie.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so, but a lot of guys knew that I could be going home shortly.
Right.
So when I ran upstairs, and make a note, I had always said this, I bought a sweatsuit years back. Never took it out of plastic when I had a life sentence. I said, you know what? I'm gonna wear this sweatsuit home one day.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna open it and wear it. I had that sweatsuit like 6 years, I think.
Okay.
Never took it out of plastic.
Right.
7 years.
Right.
Something like that. Anyway, I had it like that. So when I went and started ripping it open, you know, I got it from under in my locker or whatever, and dude was like, "Man, what's up? Where you going?" I said, "Man, I'm out, man." So I started putting my stuff on and getting everything, putting it on and everything. And it was like, "What you mean you out?" And I was like, "I'm gone." It's like, "For real?" I said, "Man, it's over with, bro."
Yeah.
Man, it was just so much going through, and I already had in my mind. I spoke to God about it, and God had put it in my spirit that you gonna get out of here soon.
Right.
So my little belongings I had, like my photo album, my personal
Yes.
stuff, you know, I had all that stuff packed, already ready to be
Yes.
right there. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna get this, put my little sweatsuit on, put my little new shoes on, get my little bag, and out the door. I ain't gotta run around, get all this stuff. It's right there. So that's what I was doing. So more guys was coming like, "Man, what's up? You doing?" I said, "Man, it's over." They said, "For real?" I said, so I got my stuff, and I was leaving. They was like, "Man, where you gone?" A lot of guys, you gone? I said, "Man, it's over." They was like, "Man, come in." I was like, "Look, I'm out, man. I ain't got time."
So you did chit chat.
Man, I ain't had time to chit chat.
Did you give anybody? Did you leave anything to anybody?
I told them, listen, all that stuff in the room, all that food, we got some shoes, a few guys that were standing there, whatever. I was like, look, bro, y'all can have this stuff. You can take this. And the guys that I knew I was leaving and certain stuff that I was like, certain people wanted like a certain pair of shoes or something. I went ahead and gave it to before I,
Yes.
before I even, like the actual day, like a few days prior.
Okay.
I was like, I know I'm going soon, so I'm not going to need these shoes. There you go, bro. Because, he needed it better than me anyway, you know what I'm saying? So I went ahead and gave it to him and certain other things.
So
but,
even in the midst of that, you were blessed to be a blessing.
Yes.
That had to be a good feeling.
Yes, it was,
So now you done got all your stuff, you got your new gear on.
God.
You told yourself that one day I'm going to walk out of here
Yes.
in this sweatsuit. You got it on, your bags packed.
Yeah.
Now you're getting ready probably to pass the guards who you had talked about earlier?
Yes, I got to go up front.
Was it the same shift
Same,
of guards?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Tell us
Same
about
one.
Yeah, I want to know what they
So
said.
when I came through, and when I came through, the counselor walked me up there, and when I came through, and they was like, oh wow, you leaving? I was like, it's over. They said, for real? I said, yep. I told y'all, it's probably gonna be the day. I told you they was all happy and everything. So guards, they don't supposed to interact with inmates like touching them and giving them a high five and whatever.
Right.
So they came around there and hugged me and
Yes.
and they said God bless you and spoke positive things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're a really good guy, so to speak. Whatever they were saying, and I was like just overwhelmed, man,
Yes.
with everything. It was crazy. It was like still to this day, it's like, man, you can just look out and just thank God.
Right.
It's just crazy, man.
So outside of the prison, now you're completely out,
Yes.
and you're riding down that
Oh my
highway.
Mm.
I didn't even go to what you and your homeboy did, but I know that had to be joyous. But you're riding down the highway, and I'm sure you and him are dialoguing.
Oh man.
But there's somebody else that's coming for you.
Mm.
Who would that be?
My sister.
And had your sister always been supportive of you?
Yes, 110%.
And her being a part of your experience throughout this whole time, because what did she do for you? I mean, if there was a way to express any type of gratitude towards your sister, what would you say?
I would say she's been like, man, my support.
Yes.
Totally. With all around, not just in one area, with everything, financially, mental. The support of her, just taking time out of her busy schedule to come up and see me throughout all the prisons I've been in.
Okay.
And going through all the changes they have to go through to get into the prison.
Right.
Just to see me, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I just want to just tell her, I just want to thank her, man, for everything, because her and her family and a few select others, you know what I'm saying, but mainly my sister, man, she been there through it all, through the rough times, and I know it was rough on her because she's actually doing the time as well as I'm doing the time.
Right.
Mentally.
Right. Got
So,
you.
It's crazy, so it's just so many areas I can just give her thanks, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, guess what, Teddy? This is your opportunity. I want you to look right there in that camera.
Yes.
And I want you to tell her thank you. Go ahead.
Tanya, I just want to tell you, thank you so much for everything you've done. I mean, I know a lot of times, you didn't know this, but I couldn't have made it without the phone call, just me hearing your voice, just for you giving me the uplifting words, the encouraging words, the support, the mental support that I really needed to get through all those, times that I've been in prison, man. You just don't even understand. You don't even have a clue. I can't put it in words of how thankful and grateful I am to have you as my sister. I just want to thank you for that.
Well, we thank her too.
Yes.
And it is because of your sister that I
Yes.
had the pleasure of meeting you.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not even gonna tell y'all what I call him because can't nobody call him that but me. That's my name for him. Now, yeah, I'm spoiled. And so,
Yeah.
you know, to have that great support system,
Mhm.
to have that spiritual background, that relationship with God.
Mhm.
So most people, they come out of a prison and they have to be concerned with housing.
Mhm.
They have to be concerned with employment.
Mhm.
And the resources they need to be available. And so I think that while people are incarcerated, that they should take advantage of the different programs like the
Correct.
one you mentioned.
Correct.
Because people can go to school
Yes.
in prison, right?
Exactly.
They can get degrees.
Exactly.
It'll be a perfect time for them to obtain their degrees.
Yes. Yes.
So as far as housing was concerned, you had to have that set up already, or do they help with housing?
Well, if you don't have nowhere to go,
Mm-hmm.
they would send you to a halfway house
Okay.
prior to release. But as for me, I got immediate release, and I wouldn't have went to no halfway house if I didn't have nowhere to go. I went to a homeless shelter. They would enroll me to a homeless shelter first, then I went from there to wherever I'm gonna go, whatever. So, but through the grace of God, you know, I had my sister and her family, and I was blessed to go and have a place to stay.
Right.
And then have to worry about that part right there, you know.
Okay.
And I'm thankful for that.
Okay. So you had everything in place.
Yes.
But for other individuals, you got to be concerned about housing.
Mhm.
I often have heard this as well, that the only jobs that have been available without having degrees or education, or even a person willing to give somebody a second chance, is that the jobs that are available are low paying wage jobs, and sometimes the employer can be abusive to
Yes.
the person just because they know
Mhm.
the limitations that the individual has.
Yes.
And so through this dialogue, I'm hoping that our judicial system, our leaders, our people in place will, in other organizations, as we continue to grow, that we'll have the resources necessary to allow individuals to come back into society on a positive level.
Uh-huh.
There needs to be things put in place. I can't say that I'll necessarily be the one doing it, but I'll definitely be cheerleading behind it and championing behind those that are doing it.
Yes.
And anything that I can do to lend my talents and gifts, I'm willing to do that as well.
Mhm.
And so, Teddy, I just want to thank you once again for coming and sharing your story, your life story, part of your life story, because it's not the end. What people need to know is that you're planning to open up your own business, right?
Yes.
So he gonna make money while he sleep.
Yes.
Yes, and just knowing by keeping God first that all things are possible.
That's right.
And so in closing, I'm gonna wrap it up. Teddy Blackmon, again, thank you for being on Chit Chat with First Lady Modesty.
Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure. And so I'm going to leave y'all with these closing remarks. Don't allow self-imposed limitations to keep you from fulfilling your dreams. For God allows ordinary people to do extraordinary things. See, it's not about your ability, but it's always about Him. Keep your mind, your heart, your faith stay focused on a family. For God is no respecter of persons. The same thing that He did for Teddy Blackmon and for me, He'll do for you too.
That's right.
We call this day and week blessed. You know why? Because we're blessed by the best. Make sure you love on somebody, and by all means forgive somebody. Indeed, it's been my pleasure. I am First Lady Modesty, and you've been watching Chit Chat.